Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is about that time. Keep your hands up and keep your head on a swivel. The Haymakers and Submissions podcast is here. We woke up and chose violence today. Stick and stay for combat sports talk at its finest, coming your way now. Welcome, everybody, to Haymakers and Submission podcast. My name is Drew. We're talking boxing, MMA, all combat sports, but today we'll be focused on boxing, and we're joined here first by Chops, our co-host. Chops, how you doing?
Good, man. Good to be here. You know I'm ready. It's a good weekend for a lot of sports, but you know I'm ready for the boxing and the combat, buddy. You know that. Got my buddy here today, Claudio. How you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm good. I appreciate you guys having me on. Always good to be with you. Thank you.
Oh yeah, man. Good. Let's get into it. Here, I get a question real quick for both of you before we get into the breaking down of it. Are you guys looking forward? Are you excited about this fight? If yes, why? If not, why? And I'll answer after you guys do. Good. And Claudio, guess first.
Look, I respect Usyk a ton. He's undefeated. He's beat Anthony Joshua. He's had some nice fights, but and he's seems like a good man. Fury is obviously the draw. And when you know what, Chops, one time I think I'm kind of paraphrasing what you said. One time I believe you said you'd like to see two ants fight, right? You just want to see some good fights, right? And I kind of said something the other day to a friend of mine about some things. You may see some good fighters. Like some people are boxing fans. Some people just want to see names, like I just walked into this one place to see the Tyson Paul fight, and it was electric, right? Now, is the fight going to have that kind of electricity? No, but I'm a Fury fan. I enjoy watching him. He's tough. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, and to be honest with you, on our show, the Boxing Authority, Smoke and Jim Frazier said this is the greatest heavyweight era of all time. I don't agree with that at all. So you kind of have to take what you can get in the heavyweight division.
That's a great point. I am looking forward to this fight. I was looking forward to the first one. It didn't disappoint in my view. It was a very good fight. I know some folks weren't happy with the decision. I thought it was legit. I thought Usyk won the fight. I picked Fury to win the fight, but I thought Usyk won the fight. I scored it as such. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be even closer, in my view, than in the first one. So that's how I'm looking at it, Chops. How about you?
Man, fellas, and again, it is funny. I watch two old ladies at bingo fight if they're throwing. So I do like to fight. So yes, I'm gonna watch. But fellas, again, let's not forget when I'm growing up. It really started in the '80s. When I'm looking at the '80s, and then we're talking about the Hagler Hearns, and then we saw when Tyson was doing it, Tony Tucker, and I mean these guys who were Michael Dokes, Evander Holyfield going up from cruiserweight. These guys were throwing hard leather, and it was violent in there. Now, yes, as big as Fury is, whatever have you, it just – Claudio, you said a great word, electric. These fights used to be electric, and it was like, oh, man, come Saturday, you are ready. You're sitting in your chair, and I'm gonna watch it. I'm ready for it, but I'm just not excited like I used to be for and especially a heavyweight fight. Because, Claudio, you guys remember, if you were heavyweight champ, consider baddest man on the planet, hands down. You know what I mean? That's the only reason. So, but I am, first race, opening bell, or walk down. I'm gonna be there without question. I'm gonna be watching it. You guys already know that. But I'm looking forward to it, and it's a championship. Two well-known names, guys who both have a respectable toolbox. But I'm not excited for it like I have been. Whether it was Tyson Holyfield, whether even remember when. I was excited when Foreman, the old man coming back, he fought Holyfield. You know what I mean? I just wasn't excited to see. I'm not excited like that. You know what I mean? I'm not excited like that when I thought Garcia and Haney was going to be something. But I'm ready. I'll be there Saturday. I'll be in front of the TV watching, but I'm not excited like that. But I just wanted to ask that.
Well, I'm curious. I want to follow up on that with a question too. Do you guys think it's because that the fighting just isn't at the same level as we've been accustomed to? Or is it because possibly, and I have a view on this too, the way like, let's face it, this is not for the unified undisputed. This is for a unified championship, but not the undisputed anymore, because the IBF saw fit to strip Usyk of the title and hand it to Dubois. So it kind of takes the luster off what this fight really should have been, in my view. But Claudio, did you see any correlation there?
For me, and again, Chops hit it on the head, and I'm older than both of you. I grew up with the Muhammad Ali's and the Ken Nortons and the Foremans and the Fraziers, and then of course the great four, Hagler, Leonard, Hearns, Duran, and then Boom Boom Mancini and Vinny Pat. All those guys. It's like you eat a hamburger. It's good, okay, but then when you put a little salt on it, little pickle, little mayonnaise, little mustard. Now you got something. Now Fury has a personality. He sells it, but Usyk doesn't. Now, but I don't know if you necessarily need two to sell it, but there's just something. There's an it factor to these fights.
Yeah.
When Leonard and Hagler, I'm sorry, when Hagler and Hearns fought years ago, they didn't really mouth off too much. You just knew there was going to be fireworks. Okay. Again, Joe Montana didn't have the same mouth as a Joe Namath, but he had an it factor. Okay. The fighters today, there's some good fighters. They just don't sell. I don't know. For me, like in baseball, a Dave Parker, a Ricky Henderson, a Reggie Jackson, those guys had color, they had flavor, they had a personality. A lot of people, when Reggie Jackson would bat, you would watch, even if he struck out. I have pictures here of Reggie Jackson in my office here. I mean, he was exciting. Now, Fury brings something to the table. Him and Wilder brought something to the table. Usyk and Fury, it's what you have. And if you're a heavyweight or a boxing fan, I'll put it to you this way simply. Eddie Murphy had a skit years ago that if you haven't eaten in a long time and somebody give you a Ritz cracker, you say, damn, this is good. It's good. So, this is what we have to accept and take, and it'll be an entertaining fight. And last thing, I'm sorry, you knew an Ali or an Foreman were all, and Holyfield and Tyson were all-time greats. Is Fury an all-time great? For right now in his era, yes. I don't know how well he would have done years ago, so maybe he doesn't resonate with people. I don't know. But I'm interested in the fight. Back to what Chop said. Am I going to be counting down the days? No. But, I'm looking forward to it.
And it's funny because, Claudio, when you started, you said Ricky Henderson, and you started naming these older players. Those older players, either they could hit or they could hit it for a single and turn that into stealing bases. They played, they had a toolbox. They did multiple things. We don't see, I am not big on this heavyweight bunch because they don't all pop the jab. Fury gets so much love because he has a great jab. For Fury, compared to what he's doing now. I'm not saying compared to the older, but now, he works. But you don't see guys throwing combinations, the head movement the heavyweights used to have, going to the body, digging into the toolbox. So that's why, to me, this isn't the greatest heavyweight era, because I just don't see guys digging into the toolbox and doing anything. And he mentioned like Wilder. Wilder was a draw because he could just bomb you, throw that bomb, but he also had that arrow punch where he was like the bow and arrow coming this way. Yeah. But if you notice, guys that threw a jab give him problems. Everybody had to be able to jab. He was as small as Frazier was height-wise. Frazier could jab. He had a nice left hook. He didn't just throw, you know what I mean? So guys had toolboxes then where we don't see that as much now. And it's crazy because you think of the things guys have access to now that guys back then didn't have access to. When I say that, it's knowing how nutrition works for the body, knowing how to work and rest and but they have all that at their disposal, but they don't work combinations. You don't see them going body, head, just that's.
Now, let me ask you guys this, okay? And I may use a few baseball references, but what's easier to hit, a baseball or a softball? A softball, because it's bigger. Tyson Fury is wide, okay? You're not going to miss too many body shots, okay? But these guys, everybody head hunts.
Yes.
And and again, Marciano was always known for the knockout. Terrific. But look what he did to La Starza in his arms. Look what he did to Joe
Yeah,
Louis. Look what he did to Ezra Charles.
punching.
So he went to the body, then the arms came down, and then he cracked him in the head. These guys just go head hunting. But I blame, and I'm very critical of coaches today in baseball, especially in baseball, that they don't teach the proper things. The former trainers that we grew up with who were very, very good and used common sense, the guys today, but
Yeah, but I would ask you this, Claudio. You actually being coach and dealing with some of these younger kids and kids of all different ages. I understand you can't coach and train like you used to, but before, even if I was cutting up and I wasn't doing what the coach was saying, whatever have you, the coach hollering, the coach yelling, did not get my mom or dad off the stands and come down and yelling at the coach. No, you know what I mean? As they said, no one's ever been coddled to greatness, and some of these guys aren't training these days, whether it's in baseball and in boxing or any combat or any sports now, how they used to. So yes, you're bigger, faster, stronger, but if you utilize the jab like you should, work the body like you should, it would, man, what this sport could be. It just,
all I say to that in baseball, I'll say, are you happy hitting 210? No. Well, then listen to me. In boxing, are you happy getting the hell knocked out of you? Are you happy getting your nose busted and cut? No. Again, back to Vinny Paz. Not that he fought his trainers, but they wanted him. His trainers at the time wanted him to go in and just slug, right? But Vinny was very, very athletic, and he was a good boxer. So Kevin Rooney wanted him to do more the Willie Pep type thing, and he used to holler during the fights, Willie Pep, Willie Pep, Willie Pep, hit, move, hit, move. Kevin Rooney did not want him to just go in there. Even when Kevin Rooney had Mike Tyson, he did not want Mike Tyson to
out.
exactly head
Yeah,
movement.
out. Yeah. But it's funny.
So to go ahead and get hit.
Yeah, and it's funny though, Claudio, because you mentioned Vinny Paz. Whether you were a fan of Vinny's or not, you couldn't deny he was bringing it. He was bringing it. And there are some guys, even to this day, they don't bring it they're not always bringing it. Their motor's not always full go, regardless of what happens. It's just different nowadays. I don't know what it is, man, but it's what we got. So I'm definitely watching Saturday. I know that.
Let's start breaking this bad boy down, because what we saw in the first fight, I'll paraphrase it a little bit. The first half of the fight, Tyson Fury, I wouldn't say dominated, but he certainly won the majority of the rounds. In some people's view, he won all the top first 6 rounds. But then it turned. And then Usyk had Fury in deep trouble in the 9th, I believe it was, and quite frankly, I was a bit critical. The referee probably should have ruled a knockdown a lot earlier than what actually happened, because Fury fell flat into the ropes, full body into the ropes. That's a knockdown. Didn't get called. By the time he actually got put down, he was saved by the bell. And now he got up, but Usyk didn't have a chance to follow up. Now at that point, obviously that's a 2-point round. Again, a close fight. It was a split decision. But let's start with Usyk. Claudio, what do you see is his game plan possibly going into this fight Saturday night? Does he change a bit, or does he stick with what got him there?
I think fighters are honest with themselves. Was it him that turned Fury around that fight? Or was it Fury who, as Chops just said about Vinny bringing it every single round, did Fury take the foot off the pedal? Okay. And I kind of think it was Fury who took the fight off the foot off the pedal. Then Usyk went in. And I'll say this. I tell my team, if we have a team that we're playing a team that we're much better than, let's go in there and punch them first, punch them early and often, and do not give them confidence. Okay, don't give them confidence. Let's get them the hell out now. Fury did well, and then he laid off, and then Usyk went in and did his openings. And so I think that's what happened. Usyk is a nice fighter. For me, I don't think he's as great of a heavyweight as people are trying to make him out to be. I know he's undefeated. That's great. He beat Anthony Joshua, but how great is Anthony Joshua? So, but if I were Usyk, I would. Now, I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump around here, but Fury can get knocked down. Does not have a great chin at all. Okay. But he's got the best recovery chin since Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes, Snipes, Weaver, and of course Ernie Shavers blasted him. Okay. And Cooney hit him in the body. And when Holmes said he never felt like that before, but he had a great recovery system, head and body.
Yeah.
Fury has Wilder, as we know, he did the Undertaker thing that time. He just has a hell of a recovery. And Usyk hit him from pillar to post, and he recovered. Okay, but he took the foot off the pedal. What I would say for Usyk is, they say stick and jab. Don't stay in there too long because Fury can hit. I think he's a little underrated with the power. Okay, and the thing with Fury is that he does a great job, that he did a little bit in the fight, then he stopped, or the feints. That is so important. Some quarterbacks in football are runners, a Steve Young, a Randall Cunningham, a Michael Vick. They could run. But then you had guys like a Dan Marino who did a little shift, just a little step, okay? And he still moved in the pocket. Fury moves in the pocket pretty good. But the other thing about the feints, and I tell my team, if we fake steal, fake punt, fake steal, after a while, the defense lets up. They're faking, and then we can actually steal. When you feint, they say, he's just faking. I'm not going to fall for it. Then you blast the guy. He stopped doing that, or he did it in sections. When he does it more consistently, he's very tough to beat. But Usyk has to go in there and be more scientific, create some openings, and land a shot. We know that he can hurt him. Anybody can hurt. Steve Cunningham was a cruiserweight. He hurt Fury. Okay. I sparred Fury one time and knocked him down. I'm kidding. Everybody can knock Fury, but he can get up. So again, you don't try to knock him out, because you're not going to knock him out. Knock him down to build up points, but don't rely on that as your only points. Okay. Score. If he does that, he's got a shot.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Chops, are you changing the game plan if you're in Fury's camp, or you sticking and staying?
Honestly, we're still saying people born round don't die square. I don't. I mean, what difference can he do? But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's got to come with his head off the line. He has to come with his head off the line. And in today's ring, today's heavyweight, whose jab is better than Fury's today? So that's what gave your boy Usyk problems in the first 6 rounds. And as Claudio said, he took his foot off the gas. And I'll be honest with you, did he foot off? Because I really didn't take it as Usyk pressured him. I didn't have the mindset, pressure breaks pipes. I didn't think Usyk pressured him into whatever. I think Fury was so far ahead. And don't forget, he was dancing. He was even trying to dance and showboat a cup, whatever have you. He took his foot off the gas. So to me, if I am Usyk, I realize I have to come in, head off the line, realize I'm going to take a couple jabs. I'm going to take it, but I want to fight in the lion's den. I want to be in close, and I want to dig the body, because you're right. His recovery time, and when Wilder hit him, I thought he was dead. I thought we saw a guy die in the ring. I did. Yeah. And when he sat up, like you said, the Undertaker, I was like, "Are you kidding me, Jack?" This guy, and I remember saying, if he gets up, he wins, because I had Fury winning that first fight. I had it with Wilder. I had him winning. So having said that, if I am Usyk, I got to realize, got to keep my head off the line, and I can't give up the first few rounds like I did in the last one, number one. And number two, I'm going to come in. I don't know if you guys have seen Fury, but he looks almost like depleted. You know what I mean? Like depleted. Now, he's got time to put the, water and rehydrate, whatever have you. But if I'm Usyk, I'm going to test that body. I'm trying to get in to test that body, because we already realize if you, as an Usyk, stay at the end of that jab, it's going to be a bad day at the office. And I don't see Fury giving up that jab this time round. I think if I'm Fury, I'll jab you all 12 rounds if I have to. I'm just walking out with the belt. That's me.
I think Fury was listening to all of you because I just saw a picture of him in preparation for this fight, and it looks like he's probably put about 25 pounds around that midsection again. Because to your point, Chops, he came in pretty lean in that fight, and I'm wondering if he's thinking the same thing. I'm gonna beef up a little bit because it almost seems like, and I don't know if this is true, Claudio, but when a guy carries that much weight all the time, and all of a sudden he drops, quite frankly, he fought at an uncharacteristically lower weight for him. You maybe come out of the gates a little too fast, and I don't know if he lost a little steam in the middle of the fight, and that's why he had to take it easy in that round, and that's what kind of changed things a bit. But do you guys see any like logic to why he'd be putting that weight back on for this fight versus what he had in the first one?
You know, I don't think you can put a blanket on anyone. Everybody is different. Okay. Why was I think he was older, but the 45-year-old George Foreman, who was much heavier, and he would stand in between rounds, bored. And Angelo Dundee would say, "George, are you okay?" He'd go, "Yep." And that was it. But when he was younger and built and chiseled, when he was 25, he was tired. And, Smoking Jim Frazier said this about Fury. His body, he's never going to be an Evander Holyfield, a Ken Norton, a Mike Weaver. They're never going to be built. That's not him. Okay.
Yeah.
So let him be who he is. And he obviously can carry the weight because, again, against Wilder, against Usyk, and against everyone, they knocked the hell out of him. And that saps some of your energy. But apparently it works for him. I think the big thing with Fury, before I'll go into his mental aspect in a minute, but as the physical part of it, that's just him.
That's him. That's him.
Him.
Yeah, that's him. That's him.
Do you guys see any kind of an issue? Because in the press conferences, and I've been watching them, they've been mostly Fury carrying the banter because Usyk's English isn't 100%, but it's getting better. But they're friends. They do respect each other a lot. So I almost see like there's like Fury's trying to create this animosity in these conferences, but they clearly know, and even said it's just fight banter. Does that take a little edge off a fighter though, Claudio?
You know what? Just like when you said something about Garcia prior to the show, these guys, I've heard, and I know all three of us have heard fight talk, and they talk about, and they get into some deep stuff, personal. Then at the end of the fight, what do they do?
Hug it up.
I mean, you rarely see a brawl at the end of the fight. They respect each other. They're trying. It's like the old wrestling days. I'm going to break your neck. I'm going to give you a pile driver. I'm going to bash you. And they're selling tickets. Look at Arturo and Mickey Ward. Each other and earned each other's respect. They didn't talk mess, no. But I think you're a professional. I don't think Evander Holyfield hated anybody. He never tried to work himself up. Again, Boom Boom didn't. Boom Boom, Sugar Ray Leonard, he went in there. They were professionals. And this is and then another thing too, fellas, when somebody's punching you, I don't give a damn who you are. You ain't going to like it. And that's going to turn things up.
That's going to turn things up,
I don't think that's going to affect the fight at all.
Yeah. And, real quick, though, and every time we're referencing older fighters, you know what I mean? So, and when you did seriously, but here's the thing, even though Sugar Ray, great conversations, well-spoken, whatever have you, but once he stepped inside that ring, he truly let his hands do all the talking, and like you said, Holyfield was truly a warrior. He was going out on his shield every time. And with some of these guys, it's manufactured hate and they try to whatever have you. And even though these guys are professionals, I don't put either one of them in the realm of a killer. You know what I mean? And we had some of those in heavyweights and in all weight classes. Well, when you step in the ring with this guy, if you put your hands down, if you don't that or whatever, it could be a bad day. Now they're so big, they're so heavy, as big guys are, anybody can get hit, anybody can get dropped. But having said that, it's just not their style even to get, Fury's dad, he talks a lot of junk. But like you're right, Claudio, they're professionals, so it is what it is. I'm ready to see a good fight. I'm just hoping it's not going to get nasty. It's not going to be a brawl, but I'm hoping we see a little more action than we saw last time.
And we mentioned Sugar Ray, who could have been maybe the pound for pound greatest fighter of all time and top 3 finishers of all time. Now,
Yes.
Donnie Lalonde and him, Donnie's a friend of mine. Donnie and him did a lot of promotion together because they were the promoters. Okay. And they became friends, friendly. They're friends now, but they became friendly during the fight. Well, Donnie knocked him down and Sugar Ray did what he did. So again,
That was a hell
that's
of a fight.
just what you have to do. And these guys once, and you said something earlier, Chops, about, if you're born round, you can't go square, or paraphrasing there. You're exactly right. Using this as an example, when Wilder was supposed to change his technique and his boxing ability, or not to be corny, but in Rocky 3, when Apollo Creed wanted Rocky to be more of a boxer, when all hell started to break loose, what did Rocky do? He went
Go
back to
back to
being
what he knew. What he knew.
Wilder was supposed to move more, stick and jet. And then when things started getting a little heavy, he went back to being Wilder. You are who you are, okay? And both of them, again, Chops uses a great term, toolbox. Lennox Lewis was a boxer puncher.
Man.
Sugar Ray was very underrated power-wise. So Fury is a nice boxer, okay? Forgive me, whenever I evaluate baseball players, I have to stop evaluating these guys against, like, Andrew McCutcheon in his prime. I did a TV show and I said, he's not a 5-tool player. They go, oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is. I said, he does not have the arm, okay, to be, he does. And then during the show, I apologize because I'm comparing him to Dave Parker, Andre Dawson. I'm talking about guys with guns. Then during the show, I apologized and said, you know what? I'm comparing him to Clemente, Parker, those guys. I have to compare him to today's arms, and he does have an above major league arm. Fury, compared to today's heavyweights, is a good boxer with some
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. It's difficult, we want to compare apples to apples, right? And it's tough when you're going over decades. And like I would say clearly, and it's slightly before my time, but the 70s for heavyweights was clearly number one. I mean, to me, there's no doubt. And even the greatness of Mike Tyson is what really, there were some good fighters in the 80s, don't get me wrong, Holmes and Tyson, and we named a few of them. But yeah, the 70s were awesome. But Tyson Fury right now is as close to a total package as I've seen since the Klitschko's. The Klitschko's were very good fighters. But you touched on something earlier. You want to talk about the mental side of this, Claudio, and let's talk about that, because you talk about Tyson Fury. Regardless of all the confidence and bravado and the skill set, he still took an L and got knocked down in that first fight against Usyk. I know he's a pro, but that stung his pride, no question. He's going to want to get that back. Talk about that. How does he respond to that in this fight?
Obviously, nobody wants to get knocked down. Everybody, you would hope, has that pride thing. And again, forgive me for the same reference, Vinny Paz, when he had that kind of a flash knockdown against Roberto Duran, he got up right away and he attacked Roberto, and the referee had to stop it. Vinny took offense to it. Does Fury take offense to it? He's been down so many damn times. He probably thinks, I'll get up from it. But my whole thing, and I use this reference all the time, Lennox Lewis, when he fought David Tua, I said that he's going to have to be drained at the end of that fight, both physically and mentally. Vince Lombardi used to say, the greatest feeling in the world is to lie exhausted in victory. The second greatest feeling in the world is to lie exhausted in defeat. In other words, give everything you have physically and mentally. Now, Lennox Lewis, I said every single round he fights against every second of that fight, he's going to have to do his work physically, instinctively, but mentally he has to be ultra focused, because you can get away with it against an Usyk or against a non-big puncher. Tua touches you, it's over.
It's ball game, yes.
So obviously Lennox did what he did, but when he fought Rock Ramen,
The
Okay.
first time.
Actually, me and my dad always watched every fight. Well, that fight was my first pro baseball camp in Atlanta. So I called my dad. I fell asleep. All of a sudden, I woke up and Lewis is, doing what he's doing. And Ramon's going. I said, Dad, what happened? My dad said he lost focus for a second. And that's
He
exactly what
did.
happened.
Yes.
Caught. And Buster
Yep.
Douglas. Buster fought tremendously against Mike Tyson. Perfect. Perfect. Then that 1 second, Tyson gave an uppercut. It's over. People think boxing is physical. Yes, but it's incredibly.
Mental.
But boxing, if you lose focus in baseball, you'll strike out. Okay. You'll make an error. Okay. In boxing, you get knocked out. So if Fury, and now you say, well, what about the hot dogging? Sugar Ray did the bolo, but he was focused.
Yeah.
Ali did the shuffle. And there's a great video, and I don't know who he was fighting. He had his hands on the rope, and the guy threw like 20 some punches
Yeah.
and all kind of stuff. Unbelievable, but he was focused. He may have been just like a singer or an actor. They may be clowning around, but they're focused. Fury tries to do a little shimmy or whatever the hell he does, but he could get caught. Okay.
Yeah.
He has to focus and be just let your physical toolbox, as Chops always says, which is a great line, let that come through. But man, you better stay focused. And Usyk isn't a big hitter, but he knocked you from pillar to post. You don't have a great chin.
Yeah.
You have to be focused.
He doesn't. Let me ask you guys something, right? Let me start with you, Drew.
Okay.
You're Fury's cornerman. You're his lead cornerman. And it's coming for you too, Claudio. What is your key to victory? What game plan are you working on right now? All I'm asking for, you're in Fury's corner. You're his guy. What's your game plan?
We're going to establish the jab early and often. We want to move. We definitely don't want to if Usyk gets inside, we're going to tie him up. We're going to stay off the ropes because we want to box. And bottom line is, if we can do that, and we're going to conserve our energy a little bit early on. We're gonna be active, but not overactive. To Claudio's point earlier, let's win rounds, but not overdo it. Because I know in the back of my mind, not only did he do it to me in the first fight, he also did it to Anthony Joshua both fights. About that 9th round, Usyk finds that 5th gear, and he can pour it on a little bit. He's very good at conserving his energy. He's got energy to burn. So we're going to conserve a little bit, but we're going to be active in every round, and we're going to keep jabbing the crap out of him. And he's going to get tired of it because Tyson Fury's got cinder blocks for hands, and he has a nice jab. He's got good power in that jab. Most guys use it as a rangefinder. He uses it as a weapon, which I believe is the way to do it. So that's my game plan if I'm in this corner.
Okay. What about you, Claudio?
Go look at the second Wilder fight and see how you behaved. See how you behaved. You went in there. You didn't play games. Okay. You were serious. You didn't waste energy. Okay. To Drew's point, you didn't waste energy. And he used different angles with those fists. He just didn't throw straight, uppercut, side, but all over the place. Okay. And it's almost like a football team, a quarterback not going to the same receiver. He goes to the tight end, the back, this receiver, the number 3 receiver, all over the place. You don't know who to cover. Okay. So be serious. You don't have to entertain. You doing well is the entertainment. I know about the, looking around, all that. Be focused. Be focused. And if he does, he probably won't. He gets caught every fight, but maybe because of that second. Maybe because of that second, he loses it. He loses focus. Okay. So I tell his corner, I'm his corner, just like I tell my teams. Okay. If we're doing good, I say, okay, keep doing it. Turn it up. I use that phrase all the time. Turn it up. Turn it up. Don't let them back in the fight. Don't give them confidence, because think about basketball or football or any sport. There's always a part, especially in basketball, there's always a section during the game where the opponent makes a big comeback. Okay. Don't allow that. Don't allow that. Don't let him back in the game. Start off early, build the points. Then when you build up the points, you're making Usyk into a slugger. His core is, hey, we got to knock this guy out. Not that it can't happen, but then that's when you start getting sloppy. Okay. So again, focus, don't fool around. Each round is its own entity. Each round is its own world. Win that round. Come back in the corner. Fury, you did good. You did X, Y, and Z good. Do it again. Sometimes people make things harder than it has to be. I know as a baseball coach, if the catcher can't throw or if the pitcher has a big windup, we're running. Or if he's wild, we're not going to swing. We don't have to steal. Common sense. If something is working against, and the other thing, lastly, what do they say? Familiarity breeds contempt. If you're Usyk now, there's no guessing. His power. Like how many times, and even Fury said he was better than I thought. But now going into it, he knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Just focus. And that's it. Focus. Do what you do right. Okay. Don't be different. If you're born round, don't act square. You have a toolbox, copying chops. Utilize it. Utilize everything you have. And when the round's over, go back, rest up, regain, reload, go do your thing.
Yeah. And I'm going to piggyback off of both what you said. Drew, yours, yes, he's got to work the jab. Got to work the jab. Claudio, where you said, and when you went back to when he was fighting Wilder in the second one, throwing punches from different angles, I am also going to have him utilize that because we know Usyk has to be well within your range to hit you. You can hit him where he can't hit you, but he cannot hit you where you. So he's got to be in close. Fourth round, fifth round, there was one round he hit Usyk solid with an uppercut. Didn't buckle him, but you could see Usyk didn't like it. And also, so we're going to go back to Wilder. We know you can throw punches at multiple angles. I'm going to need you to tap into that. And also, I want to see if he didn't, whether you think, I thought it was on the line. I thought it was good. Some people I've talked to said, no, that fight, Dubois, when he hit Usyk on the belt, they said, no, Mike, that was low. Okay. Not a hill I'm on the die. I'm not going to argue with you, whatever have you. However, Usyk didn't like that. I've seen other two fights where he does not like getting hit to the body. So I want to see if when he comes in the lion's den, because he is an Usyk, has to prove his point. He's got to come in. Keep your hands up. Let's throw some uppercuts. Let's work that body. Let's see if Usyk has changed at all. Because at this point, like you said, when it gets tough, you're going to resort back to what you know. I want to see if anybody has a plan to work Usyk's body. How will he respond? Because we've never seen anybody work his body. We've seen him take a couple body shots he didn't like. So I would say that I'd like to see him, because that would be completely different. Someone going to the body. I would like to see that. I would like to see it. Not saying that he will.
Out because he did hit him from pillar to post.
Yeah. Oh man, we'll see.
And if he does, I think it's a mistake, because then, like I tell my hitters, swing like you mean it. Try to kill it. Keep your mechanics in place. And I'm kind of a hypocrite because whenever I golf, I'll see a hole that I can drive, right? So I say to myself, okay, it's wide open. And I actually see my back foot, which you're not supposed to do, twist and kind of get a little bit of it. And I kill it, but I hit it in the wrong fairway. Okay.
I got you.
I lose my mechanics. Right? If Usyk, if they tell him, you know what, look what you did to him. I mean, you hit him. You damn near kill him. And as Drew said, they should have had that as a maybe we can go in there and just get him out and get some power. If he does that, that might be a mistake. Might be a mistake.
Yeah, I would agree, because he's got to conserve to a point. I mean, he can't let it fly too early, because let's face it, a big man, and he does wear down a bit. So. But I like that question, Chop. So let's talk about what if we're in Usyk's corner. What's the game plan there? Start with you, Claudio. What are you telling Usyk if you're in his corner?
Go look at the past fight. You don't have to look at any. I did say for Fury to look at the Wilder fight, but that was more of a mentality thing. For Usyk, go look at the fight and let's really break it down. Let's look at what you did good, but also what you did bad, and fix it. And don't do that anymore. Okay, whatever it was, Okay. And whenever Fury, if he does take the foot off the pedal, but if let's say he doesn't, we have to go into it with Fury being 110% and at his best. What are we going to do to offset that? So maybe do some of your own feints, okay, and hit that body. That body is why you're missing that body, okay. And then when you hit that body, then he may come down a little bit. Then Fury's going to concentrate on what, focus on protecting that body a little bit. Heads available, then you catch him. So break it down. Use that word breakdown. Go to the body. Don't get hit. Okay. Try not to get hit too much, which is obviously common sense. But I would say go to the body, break them down, then you go to the head. But with all fighters, again, Vince Lombardi said fatigue makes cowards.
That's all. Yes.
Coming in shape, brother. Coming in shape. Okay. Again, Marciano used to train, 200 some odd rounds to fight a 15-round fight. That's why the man was never tired.
Yeah.
Okay. He could go all day long. So Usyk, both of them really coming in shape. Watch the first fight. What did you do wrong? Oh, I did this wrong. Don't do it again. So, and this worked. Do it more. That's all. Boxing, I know you guys love MMA, and I respect the hell out of MMA and UFC. I respect anybody who climbs into a ring. Boxing, people just think they go in there and it is such a chess match.
Oh, yeah, without question.
Yeah. And somebody like a Mayweather, who all he does is this, and you just miss him. And it's damn, but that's what it's. He didn't use anything. He was bored in there. He just give you a little of this, such a little slide step. Again, when Vinny fought Duran the second time, he said Vinny didn't fight right, meaning when Vinny was supposed to throw a combination, he would throw a right hand lead. But it's such a thought thing.
Yeah.
That goes through your system, and it's a hell of a talent. And the great ones can obviously do it better than others. But Usyk, again, focus, see what you did right, repeat it. What you did wrong, don't repeat it. Let's work on it. That's it.
Makes a lot of sense. Chops, what are your thoughts? You're in his corner.
Honestly, like I said, don't give away the first couple rounds, right? Maybe the first round, second round, throw some punches with bad intentions. We're not going, heavy the entire fight, but just throw some punches with bad intentions. He's going to have to hold his arms up. He's 6'9", 260, 270, whatever Mm-hmm. Those are heavy arms, right? Let's just throw punches. Go to the body. I don't care if they're not landing body, but you start punching, you're punching in the arms now. That's going to get harder as we drag him down the line for him to hold his hands up. So for me, if I'm in Usyk's corner, you're not nobody fears you like they fear Tyson. Nobody feared you in your left hook like they did, Holmes or whatever, or Holmes and his jab. Nobody fears your left hook like they did Frazier. Nobody fears your power like they did Foreman. So, but we're going to use what we have. You're gritty and you're tough. Usyk's tough regardless of what you think. Usyk is there for the long haul. So what we're going to do, it's not going to be free, and you're going to take some shots. Well, I say let's work in, and we know where we need to be. Yes, as we've seen Tyson do it, and smaller fighters out jab larger boxers and taller boxers. But that's a skill. That's a technique, and you have to have a nice jab in order to do that, because the jab is all in timing. I don't know that Usyk has it, just being honest with you, because I haven't seen that in this game. So let's not try to out jab a guy who's got a 10-inch reach on us. Let's not even do that. We're smart, come in with head off the line, and let's live inside his dive, right inside there, and let's work that body. Let's work that body. So to me,
and if I can say something real quick.
Yeah.
Jim Valvano used to, when he coached NC State against Georgia Tech, Greg Hammond was a power forward about 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". Who did he have covering him? He had a guy. I always use these Italians as references. Chris Corciani was a guard, 6'1" guard.
I remember him.
And he said, Chris, be even smaller, because when he dribbles that ball, he's tall, and it worked. In other words, if you're small, like again, like a Marciano, he didn't try to fight tall. He fought even smaller by ducking and dodging and being hard to hit. Usyk is smaller than
Yes.
Fury. Okay, don't fight tall.
No.
Maybe against somebody your own size, sure. But Fury's 6'9", so you're the short guy. Use that to your advantage. Like you said, come in, live in. Fight small. Don't stay so erect, okay?
Yeah.
Because did that against Dubois, he kind of paid for it a little bit. But excuse me. But fight small, be harder to hit. Maybe take a little page out of the Marciano. You know, the bobbing and the weaving and what have you, and then come up with some shots. And again, go to that body.
I got you. What do you got? Drew? I'm here and just see what you got.
Well, I'm definitely on board with both of you guys getting to the body. There's no doubt about that. He's going to have to. Now he's got to be strategic about that. He's got to not only respect that jab, but I think it was you earlier mentioned. I know, Chops, you were talking about the belt line hit on Usyk with the uppercut from Dubois. If I'm Tyson Fury, maybe if I'm Usyk, I'm thinking Fury might be trying to bait me to slip that jab to come inside. He's going to be ready to counter with that uppercut and catch him. But so he's got to be a little conservative. Not to mention, I love body shots. I think that's the key to victory. It's like offense wins games, defense wins championships. You can get the headshot and get the home run once in a while, but you hit the body, you're going to win most of your fights. So, but Fury is a big, thick man. And yeah. I don't even know and I know Usyk's a strong guy. He's stronger than people give him credit for, like you said, Claudio. But the bottom line is he strong enough to really hurt him just hitting him in the belly? He's got to be strategic right there in that diaphragm area. He's got to hit him square in that solar plexus, get in that, got to get to that liver. And even if he's just hitting the arms like you guys were talking about, beat the hell out of his arms. Beat those arms down. Make him hurt. And because they're heavy, like you said, and if he's got to keep raising them, it's going to hurt. It works. And we saw Canelo do it to Caleb Plant a couple of years ago. I mean, Plant couldn't even lift his arms in the 12th round. It was a ball game. But that's what I see. But yeah, Claudio, I agree with you. You got to look at the tape because he did a lot of things right. Whatever didn't work, get it out. It's got to go away. But what an opportunity to be able to scout each other like that when you have a rematch like this. It's invaluable experience. I liken it to watching my Lions fall to the Bills last weekend. But that's what a perfect scouting tape because who knows? It'll happen again. But that's how I look at it.
Okay, so as of right now, I'm assuming just because he's got the belt, Usyk is a slight favorite. I think Usyk is like a minus 150. And I think the last I had seen it, Fury was like a plus 175. And 115 is normally the even betting line. So you can tell it's still pretty much, even for Las Vegas line, it's still pretty much a gimme. Okay, so we're going into it. Who do you got and why? Claudio, you're our guest. We'll let you go first. Who you picking? Who you got and why?
I have Fury. My dad used to say one time I was up for a job and it was a good offer, a good coaching offer. And it took me a long time to consider whether I wanted it or not. And my dad said to me, if you have to think about a job offer like that, it's not for you. When I met my wife, I knew right away I was going to marry her. Didn't worry. Didn't think about it. When you have to think about it, like if I'm saying, I really don't have to think about this, believe it or not, I'm going with Fury.
Okay.
He comes in like against Wilder. He never get the second fight. He never gave Wilder the ball. Okay.
No.
He attacked him and he hovered over him. And Fury and Wilder's a big man. Against Usyk, be the tank. Go after him. Push him around. Use that body. Hit him. Do the feints. Which I like when he does it. And he's real loosey goosey. He's not. Again, the Foreman of old was loose. The Foreman of youth was tight. And when you tighten up, you get tired and you don't have that muscle twitch. Okay. If he comes in loose, I'm not worried about his flab or anything. That's just him. Certain fighters, yes. Certain fighters you worry about. Him, you don't. He does. So I think it's going to be Fury. I think it'll go to he said he's going to knock him out. But I think he said he's going to knock him out in the 13th. Does he know that there's not the 13th round? But I think he's going to win the fight. Usyk will have his moments, but I think it's going to be like an 8-4 type fight, round wise. And I think Fury at the end of the fight is going to be drained physically and mentally. That's the way I see it.
Okay. So you've got it. You've got to go in distance, like you said, 8-4. You're not saying it's going to be a war, but you do believe Fury will be the clear-cut victor in this one.
It'll have its moments, okay? And I don't think the rounds are going to be blowouts, but see, that's the great thing about boxing. If you win, if I barely beat you, or in sports, baseball team, if they win 10 games in a row by one run, they won 10 games in a row. If he wins each round, even if he just gets out of it, okay, doesn't have to knock him out or anything, even if he just outperforms him and builds up some points. Okay, I think, but he'll have his moments. Fury's not going to, he's going to get hit. That's just who he is. He's going to have some excitement, and Usyk's going to have his moments because he's a professional and he's tough and he doesn't quit. And again, he's a tough man and he's got heart and he's got some skills. But I think it's going to be an 8 rounds to 4. I think Fury's going to look pretty good. I did say after the Wilder Fury third fight, I said those guys, they just took too much out of themselves. And you only have so many wars in you. Evander, after all those wars declined, you only have maybe 5-6 wars in you max. Okay, max. So I don't think Fury's going to be what he once was, but I think he's got enough to turn back the clock a little bit. And again, I'll say it again, 8-4.
Okay. What you got, Drew?
I've gone back and forth on this one. I've justified each scenario in my head. Could I see Fury winning? Yeah, for these reasons. Could I see Usyk winning it for these reasons? Yeah, I could see that. I picked Fury to win the first fight. He didn't. I scored it for Usyk. So what do I see in the number 2? Well, I just think that in talking with you guys and then looking at their past few fights, I just think that with Tyson Fury, he's very adept at learning from the past. I loved how you mentioned the second Wilder fight, Claudio, because I think that's key. He is a student, regardless of that, and that not a lot of fighters are. And I think Tyson Fury is a student. So I believe I am going to pick Tyson Fury to win this fight. But I think it's going to be I like the 8-4 rounds. I think probably the scorecards will be 7-5. It may legit be 8-4. I could see a lot of 115, 113s perhaps across the board, but I believe he'll take a unanimous decision. I just don't think that Fury's going to be able to knock him out. And I don't believe Usyk will knock him out either. Fury's going to be a little smarter this time around. He learned from the past. So I see Fury UD pretty much what you see, Claudio. How about you, Chops?
Man, and I was going back and forth this as well also. And here's the thing. Honestly, I'm going Usyk. But I can't give, as much as I hate to say this, I couldn't give you an educated reason other than this. He's just grimy. He wants to outwork you. Now, here's the thing. If it goes the distance, I'm going with Usyk. And I say that because I think he's going to be in there. And I don't think for 12 rounds, I just don't think that your boy Fury can continue to land that jab. And I think, as Claudio talked about earlier, you'll lose focus. Remember, I say it all the time. You play football, you play baseball, you play soccer. You don't play boxing. You know what I mean? So I'm a big believer on that. He'll lose focus. So I'm going with Usyk only because again, he's got the heart and determination. And you were right, Claudio, which still has me wavering. However, because you said in the second fight that he jumped on Wilder and Wilder, couldn't respond. He just never gave him the ball. Usyk's mindset, let's not forget, fellas, he was ready to give up boxing or whatever have you to go defend his country. his mindset is a little different. You know what I mean? So if he's too big, he isn't. Fury is just too big and too heavy, and that will honestly be because Usyk just can't go on. He just literally and like you said, Claudio just gave everything. But I am going to go with Usyk simply because of the heart. So if I don't watch this and you tell me, I say what round, how it went the distance, I'm saying Usyk. If you tell me it ended in any other round, I'm going with Fury for the knockout. But I'm going Usyk for the distance only because of his heart and determination. And that's it. That's it.
Said though, you said the word grind, and he's a grinder. But again, this term started with boxing. Styles make fights.
No.
I think Fury can deal with a grinder. I think a guy that might move while he's moving, the feints won't matter.
Yeah.
Like he would take away some of Fury's skills, which is what you want to do as a fight. Like when Sugar Ray fought Hagler, and he didn't. There's some fighters who run. Sugar Ray moved beautifully. I know he kept his distance, did his thing, but he didn't allow Hagler to be Hagler too much.
True.
Okay,
True.
so that's I don't know if a grinder could like against a Buster Douglas. I'm sorry, against a Mike Tyson. You don't want to go toe to toe against Mike Tyson.
No,
Okay,
no.
what Buster did. Okay, Buster boxed beautifully. I mean, just an accurate. I don't know if I've ever seen a guy fight. I'm looking at a poster here. I mean, just perfect, right?
It was a perfect night.
Yeah, except for that one shot. But a grinder, I don't know how well a grind was Wilder a grinder? No, he won. Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know if a grinder again. Styles make fights. I don't know if that style can affect Fury. So, but I see what you're saying.
And when I say grinder, because I couldn't think of a better word, but since he's come up, he's moving up a weight, moving up in competition. There's been a lot of people, and me as well, that have went against Usyk. And somehow he finds a way because he doesn't run. He's not the flashiest. He's not the prettiest. So that's why I hate to say grinding in the old fashioned way because it's not going to be dirty. It's not going to be a mug, and it's not going to be a lot of blood. There's not going to be wounds and welts all over the place. I'm just saying about his persistence, but also on the same token, Fury, he's not built like him, but he just don't quit. And no matter what you give him, he's getting up. He's getting up. So
boxing sense, a Jerry Quarry,
yes,
and he kept coming. And really,
Joe, as good as he got.
Joe Frazier was a grinder.
Yes,
he moved and he hit you. He didn't give a damn. He was tough, and I think that again, he gave Ali a hell of a time, but Foreman, look what Foreman did to him. He bounced him, right? But it'll be a good. It's I'm glad they're fighting.
Yeah.
And it didn't take 6 years to make it happen. That's
good.
Yeah. So
it'll be real quick, Claudio, before we get you out of here, and again, thank you for joining us. Thank you. It's always a great time when we get you.
Yes, definitely.
Real quick, tell us about the Boxing Authorities. What do you guys have going on? What's your season like over the holidays? What's your schedule? What you guys got going on?
Well, for the Boxing Authorities, unfortunately, we're on a little bit of a hiatus because the studio had some issues and they shut down. So we're looking for a home. We were supposed to do a WBC Bally's event a few weeks ago, but there was some streaming issues. But we're still alive. We're still together. We do some sports shows in Pittsburgh, a radio show, and some podcasts and Steelers stuff. So Luther and Jim, we all have adversity in life and things we have to deal with. But whenever I'm around those guys, it disappears. And Luther and I say the same thing after every show. Man, we needed that. But we'll be back.
Yeah.
And we personally, the baseball season at Carnegie Mellon, we finished tied for first in the fall, and that carries over to the spring. You talk about grinding. We have a team that we just keep coming. We keep grinding. We're tough. We don't have a big roster. We don't have a lot of everything, but man, we're in the thick of things. So that's going, and I got a bunch of shows coming up. I have my show that I do. I have Rocky Marciano Jr. coming on.
Well, okay.
Hurdle's going to be on, and so everything's good, thank God. So, but
Okay.
I really appreciate being on the show. You guys are great. I enjoy the show. I enjoy all the shows you guys do, and I wish all the listeners and watchers of the show, and of course you guys, a wonderful holiday season, and soak it in with your families, and I just wish everybody the best. A lot of happiness.
Claudio, thank you, man. You have a great happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and we'll definitely have you back on here not too long.
It'll be my honor and thrill. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, man.
Claudio, thank you. For Chops, I'm Drew. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, YouTube, Facebook, ESEN Network. Check us out on Roku. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Have a great holiday season. Thank you for watching the Haymakers and Submissions podcast. You can find us on the ESEN Network on the Roku app every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time beginning on October 4th, 2024. Check us out on Twitter X. Our handle is @HeySubPod, capital H, capital S, capital P. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode. Just go to your web browser and type in www.youtube.com/@Haymakers and Submissions podcast, as we will drop content weekly. Whether it's boxing, MMA, or wrestling that gets you fired up, you'll get all you need right here at the Haymakers and Submissions podcast.